to it. You know the machine I'm talking about. That big yellow excavator you see on pretty much every construction site, right? The one with the giant arm and the bucket just scooping up dirt.
I mean, they're literally everywhere. Digging out a basement for a new house, clearing a field, moving these huge piles of earth. It's the go-to, the absolute king of digging. We see them so often we don't even think twice about them.
But what if that's just its day job? What if digging is only a tiny part of what this machine can really do? Because honestly, this familiar piece of equipment is hiding a pretty incredible secret identity. It's one of the most versatile tool carriers in the world. So here's the thing. The real magic isn't actually the excavator. Nope. It's all about the tools it can use. Think of it like a Swiss Army knife. The excavator is just the handle. The attachments are what turn it from a simple digger into a specialist that can tackle dozens of completely different jobs. Okay, so let's start with the most obvious tool, right? The bucket. But even this, the most basic part, is way more specialized than you'd guess. It's a perfect way to see how just a few small design changes can completely change what a tool's for. So check this out. On one side, you've got your standard digging bucket. You know, short, kind of blunt teeth, perfect for just scooping up dirt and soil. But then look at the other one. That's a rock bucket. It's made of super tough reinforced steel and has these long, sharp teeth. It's not for scooping, it's for breaking. It's basically the difference between using a garden spade and a heavy-duty pickaxe. And it gets even more specific. With these, it's all about the shape. The trenching bucket, it's long and skinny for a reason. It digs these perfect, narrow channels for pipes and cables. Why? Because you move less dirt, which means less work putting it all back. Super efficient. And then you have the V bucket. It carves out a perfectly angled drainage ditch in a single go. Trying to do that with a regular bucket would be a total nightmare. Now this one is really clever. It's called a skeleton bucket, and it does two jobs at once. Imagine you're clearing a messy site. You scoop up a big pile of junk. As you lift it, all the small stuff, the dirt, the dust, just falls right through those gaps. What's left in the bucket? Just the big stuff, like rocks or concrete you can recycle. It's the definition of working smarter, not harder. All right, so all this adaptability takes us to a totally different world for the excavator. We're moving from digging and building to, well, deconstruction. And I'm not just talking about smashing things. This is about taking buildings apart with a plan. And what you're looking at here is basically the whole story, step by step. An excavator on a demolition site today is like the conductor of an orchestra. First, bam! It uses a hydraulic hammer to break up the big concrete structures. Then, it switches to a pulverizer to crush those pieces down. Next, it grabs a grapple to pick out and separate the valuable steel rebar. And for the grand finale, it uses a crusher bucket to turn the leftover concrete into gravel that can be used right there on the site. It's a full-on mobile recycling factory. Think of the savings on hauling and landfill costs, not to mention how much better it is for the environment. So here we have two totally different ways to break things. You've got the hydraulic hammer, which is just pure, raw power. It's like a jackhammer on steroids, delivering thousands of powerful blows a minute to just shatter concrete. Then you have the ripper. This thing is different. It's one giant, super strong tooth that channels all of the excavator's force into one point to literally tear through tough stuff like asphalt or even frozen earth. It's the difference between a boxer's punch and a tiger's claw. And this tool, the pulverizer, really shows you how much the whole demolition industry has changed. It's not just about knocking stuff down anymore. It's about recovering resources. The whole point of these powerful jaws is to carefully crush the concrete so you can pull out the steel rebar inside. You're turning what used to be garbage into something valuable you can sell, all without it ever leaving the site. Okay, so we've seen brute force. Now let's completely shift gears. We're going from demolition and destruction to a world of incredible precision. These next tools let the excavator do jobs that need a surprisingly delicate touch. So imagine you need to clear some land. You've got two main choices here. For lighter stuff, like keeping the weeds down on the side of a highway, the brush cutter is your tool. Think of it like a giant, heavy-duty lawnmower. It's cheap and effective for maintenance. But if you're dealing with thick woods and actual trees, you need the mulcher. It's an absolute beast with a rotating drum that just devours everything. It costs more up front, but for big clearing jobs, it's way faster and saves a ton of money in the long run. I love this comparison because it shows two tools that are both about precision, but in completely opposite ways. The auger, it's a giant drill. Its job is to create perfect, clean holes in the ground for things like fence posts or support columns. Super precise. Then you've got the tree shear. This thing is basically a massive pair of hydraulic scissors that snips through an entire tree trunk and then holds onto it so the operator can lay it down gently. So one is about adding a perfect hole, and the other is about a perfect removal. Okay, now this is a total game changer. Seriously. This is probably the single biggest innovation in excavators in decades. It's called a tilt rotator. And the easiest way to think about it is it's a wrist. It's a fully articulating wrist that goes between the end of the excavator's arm and whatever tool is attached. So what does having a wrist actually do? Well, it means the operator can now spin the bucket a full 360 degrees and tilt it 45 degrees side to side, all at the same time. Think about that. They can dig around a pipe, sculpt a weirdly shaped ditch, or grade a complex slope, all without moving the excavator itself. You don't have to constantly reposition this massive 20-ton machine. The amount of time and fuel this saves is just astronomical. And it's way safer too. So, we've seen all these amazing tools, but there's one more piece to this puzzle. What's the secret sauce that makes all of this possible? How can one machine switch between all these jobs so fast? Well, it all comes down to one absolutely critical invention. And here it is, the quick coupler. This is the magic key. It's a hydraulic lock that lets the operator drop one tool and pick up another in, like, seconds. And the best part? They never have to get out of the cab. So they can drop the digging bucket, hook up the hammer, then switch to the grapple, boom, boom, boom. This is the device that officially transforms the excavator from just a digger into a true modular multi-tool platform. And this quote really just nails it, doesn't it? The transformation of heavy equipment from single-function units to multi-function platforms. That's exactly what we've been talking about. The excavator has gone from being a one-trick pony to this incredibly complex and adaptable system. It's a beautiful piece of engineering that lets one machine do the job of a whole fleet of them. So that really leaves us with one final big question. As these tools get even smarter with more sensors and more automation, what's next? What happens when these machines can build as well as they can dig? It makes you wonder what the construction side of the future is going to look like.